Misery by Stephen King. A writer named Paul Sheldon gets in a car accident during a snowstorm, and he's saved by his #1 fan, who ends up being a bit of a crazy person, and he has to try to figure out how to survive and how to escape. Spoiler alert on this review, because I want to talk about the ending. I don't know how we can talk about it without it, so spoiler alert if this is something you still plan on seeing or watching. I love this movie when I was younger, and I watched it many times. I thought it was so fun, so well done. I loved watching the scenes. I thought the acting was really good. Like, it was all interesting to me. So reading the book when I was younger was a big disappointment. One of the things that the book does differently than the movie, where I think the movie is far superior, is you start off from Paul Sheldon's perspective with this person who you think is normal at first. In the movie, you think Annie Wilkes might just be this really kind woman who saved him from what otherwise would have been his death of freezing, out in the middle of nowhere. Then it's like little by little, you start to realize that she's got some screws loose and he's not safe and he's got to figure out what to do. In the book, she is shrieking right from the beginning. By the end of chapter 1, this normal author guy is already talking about how he's going to murder her because he knows that his life's in danger because she's a nutcase. So you miss out on the subtlety in the book, which is funny because usually it's the opposite relationship between book and movie. Since I'm on the issue of things that I'm not crazy about in the book, I just have one other thing to complain about, and that is a general complaint with Stephen King. He does backstory a lot. It's a bit much for me, just in general with his books. In this book, especially in a way, because he has sections where he's writing as Paul Sheldon. Like, what is Paul Sheldon writing about is what you're reading in Misery. So he has these characters that Paul Sheldon's making up, talking about their backstories, and I thought, my goodness, you do so many backstories. Your backstories have backstories. I was more annoyed with it the first time I read it. Now a little less so, but still a lot of backstory. That being said, Stephen King is an amazing writer. Phenomenal, very talented. How he brings you into the scene and gets you inside Paul Sheldon's mind is really well done. In a lot of ways, it's a masterclass of how to get inside someone's mind. So that's the advantage of the book over the movie, though. Getting inside Paul Sheldon's mind, because you had to picture yourself as this writer, and there's this crazy lady who is massively unpredictable. She might be laughing one minute, and then she might be coming at you with a knife in the next. And periodically, she disappears to what she calls her laughing place, which it sounds like some place in the woods where she, just gets it all out of, laughing, screaming, whatever. And you're left behind in this empty house. If you do anything, if you try to leave, if you do anything wrong, she's going to punish you when she gets back. She could get back in 3 minutes or 3 days, and if she doesn't come back, then you're dead because she doesn't have a phone and there's no way you can talk to anyone, and your leg is broken, so you can't go anywhere or do anything. And so the novel's great in that because you're in his head, like he's trying to think about what he can do. And as the novel goes on, his sanity is starting to slip. And that's why I think the ending of the book is a bit better than the ending of the movie. In the ending of the book, things start escalating towards the end, where a policeman comes by to ask questions and she ends up killing him. And then it's like, okay, now there's going to be more people coming, and it's a great climax that as it gets towards the end. Finally, Paul Sheldon's able to overpower her, kill her, maybe, probably, but that's part of the paranoia. He doesn't know, and so he crawls away, and he slams himself in the closet, and he just falls asleep because he's so exhausted and beaten physically. He wakes up and he doesn't know how much time has passed, and he's trying to figure out, did I really kill her, or is she there on the other side of the door? And then he opens the door, and then he's seeing her around every corner. The paranoia is a big strength of the book, and it makes it work. Typically, Stephen King books are all over the place, from 1 stars to 5 stars. It's a pretty uniform distribution across that. This one is definitely on the upper side. I would give it 4 stars. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below.